And we are live. Fantastic. My name is Axel Lindgren, and I want to welcome you to our live streaming collection launch. Today we are streaming live here from the beautiful Rosendal Gardens right outside of Stockholm. And Rosendal is a place that has special significance for us at Houdini, but I will get back to that later. Now, this event that we have here today is something that we had originally planned to shoot at our studio in the showroom here in Stockholm. But we decided sort of last minute, just a couple of days ago, that we wanted to keep better distance from each other. So we decided we needed to be outside. But outside in Sweden in November is not so easy. So we started thinking, what can we do? And then we came up with the idea, maybe we can call our friends at Rosendal. And for us, they have this beautiful greenhouse here. It keeps us dry, but still we have the fresh evening air flowing through the room. So we're really stoked to be here and share this with you. And also today, the event today is very special because the collection launch is normally an internal event, but today is the first time we share it with everybody. So it's normally sort of hush-hush, but because it's the first time we show next year's products. So it's usually for retailers and agents and distributors, but since we already have a live event set up and since we have nothing to hide, we thought, why not share with anybody that's interested? So I want to give a warm welcome to our customers, to our business partners, to our social media followers, our competitors, whoever you are. I'm really happy that you're here. But now I think we should move inside and take a look at the space and meet the team. Okay, welcome to the greenhouse. And with me today, we have 4 musketeers. I'm one of them. The second one is Hanna Lindblad, our head of sales.
Hello, Axel.
Hi. And you are here as our seasoned vet. You've been with Houdini for 20 years, and you know pretty much anything there is to know about Houdini. So you will be a part of the panel, which will answer your questions during this event. I also have Jesper Danielsson, our head of design.
Hey, Axel.
Hey, and you will also be here on our panel. Now, because as you can see, we're in Sweden and it's November and it's 6 o'clock, it's pitch black outside and it has been for a couple of hours. So we decided to use the product segments from the stream that we had this morning, because then we have beautiful natural lighting. So we will show the morning clips for you this evening, which means that we can have Jesper on the panel the whole evening. We have 2 Jespers, one live Jesper and one Jesper from this morning.
The meta version.
Exactly, double the fun. And that brings me to my next point, which is the live chat. As you might have noticed, we have a live chat, and that's where all you wonderful people can hang out with each other. And we also have our 4th member of the crew here today, which is Emma.
Hi, guys.
And Emma is our social media manager. She's also your ambassador. She will help with any requests you have, and she will also relay your questions to us here on the panel. So I hope you guys aren't shy. I know there's some more Houdini people lurking around in the chat as well, eager to answer any questions. So I feel like, you know, just share whatever pops into your head. We don't have to be smart here tonight. We just want to have some fun, okay? And actually, I think we should get warmed up with a little live poll. So I'd like to know where you guys are watching from. So if you can do this for me, just type hi from and then wherever you are, and we can get to know each other a little bit. And I will follow here on my screen and see where we are. We have Oslo here. Hi, Anna. We have Colorado. Telluride, that's Colorado, right? It's beautiful. Some people from North America. Austria, Newcastle, UK. That's fantastic. Anyway, wherever you're watching from, I want to say I'm really happy that you're here. So, what are you guys feeling right now? Jesper?
Super excited. It's really cool to meet all of you guys again. We had a fantastic show this morning, and I think the interactive part is just amazing to be able to hear all the questions and the reflections you have about what we're doing, and to dig a little bit deeper into those. So I'm looking forward to hopefully some more questions.
Yeah, don't be shy, guys. Just
We had
type ahead.
we've been here the whole day now, which has been fantastic. We are in Stockholm, in the center of Stockholm, in a fantastic garden actually. And we had a live chat this morning and live streaming, and with a chat with very advanced questions, I would say.
Yeah, our customers are not stupid, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. So we are looking forward to answer.
So I want you guys to really challenge our experts here. That's the goal for tonight. And of course, take a look at next season's collection that is going to launch next fall. But before we move into the products, I want to share our first message from the world out there. Because since we can't have everybody we'd like to have here in person, we asked some of our friends and family from around the world to send us videos on certain topics. And the first one out is Niklas Bornling in Portland, Oregon. Niklas is our new head of brand engagement and direct-to-consumer sales. Thank you for that title, Niklas. He has been in the industry for over 20 years and led the marketing for a number of global brands. He's also a really smart guy and just lovely person in general. And we gave Niklas, with his fresh eyes, he's only been at Houdini for 2 months, to try to answer the tricky question of why does Houdini exist? This is what he thought.
Hi, my name is Niklas Bornling and I live in beautiful Portland, Oregon in the United States. I've got the great honor working with marketing and e-commerce at Houdini. Today I want to address something that I think all companies should consider. Why do we exist? What is our role in this world, and why should anybody care about what we do? You'd be surprised by how many big brands that have absolutely no idea why they exist or why they're in business, apart from making a profit, obviously. When I think about Houdini, there is one thing I always come back to, and that is change. We are the change makers of outer apparel, of fleece jackets and base layers and shells, of maybe business models and maybe even society itself. And when we look around us, we see a lot of things that are not working. How we make things, how we do business, how we treat each other, and how we treat our planet. Our goal is ultimately to create a better future. And right now, that means changing the things that don't work. But what do I mean when I say change? It's not about creating news. That's relatively easy. Anyone can make some superficial changes and call it news. But never mistake news for real change. And I'm going to be bold and say that 99% of all the news that we produce as an industry changes absolutely nothing. So creating positive and lasting change is incredibly hard because you need to see beyond the superficial and look deep into the way that stuff work. And do you know what the real ingredient for change is? It's imagination. Skill to see beyond what you have in front of you and picture something different. In fact, I believe that's one of the most important skills for a professional in any trade, be it a designer or an artist, naturally an artist, but also a businessman or a scientist. To see that which doesn't exist, or an alternative, better version of something. I think this is what we've always been doing at Houdini. Since the start in 1993, our job has been to reimagine outer apparel. And how can we change this industry into something that is a better service to ourselves, but also in service of nature itself and the world around us? What if we can make clothes from what others consider to be trash? This entire outfit here is made from post-consumer recycled polyester and can be recycled over and over again, just like a PET bottle. In fact, we don't have to take from our limited natural resources anymore. On the contrary, our production can save valuable materials from landfills or incinerators. So what goes into a product is important, but also what comes out of it. So what happens to our garments when they're worn out? What can you do with your ski jacket when it's worn out? Our Lena jacket here, a shell jacket made from 100% merino wool, is completely biodegradable, which means that after you've used it to climb mountains for many years, you could compost the fabric and use it to grow tomatoes. And what if you didn't have to buy that jacket at all? We've offered rentals a subscription program since 2007, creating ways to share our garments instead of owning them, and turning the normal logic of consumption impact upside down. Instead of using resources, we can just borrow them for a while. Right now, clothes are not made to last. They're designed to break and quickly be replaced. And we do everything we can to be a counterweight to that way of doing things. Our Power Hoodie was launched almost 20 years ago, and we have customers that still use hoodies from this first batch. Instead of designing sport-specific garments that are quickly replaced, we design versatile garments made to last forever. Some people think Houdini garments have a high price. Beg to differ. I disagree. If you count the cost per use, it's a definite bargain. Change can be hard. Let me tell you about a casualty of change. This is the Moonwalk shorties here. It's one of our real hits. We've carried it since 2015 and it's been a big success for us. People love to have a warm butt, and that's exactly what this does for them. Now it's dead. We took it out in the new fall collection. Why? Because it's not recyclable. One of the biggest changes we're trying to achieve is to end the era of linear products and businesses and move into a circular era. And to challenge the very idea of resources and eliminate the concept of waste. And this is not easy. The last 300 years since the Industrial Revolution, we've been extracting resources, made stuff, and then thrown it away as soon as we're done with them. So meet the new Moonwalk shorts. They look pretty similar to the Moonwalk shorties. The name is confusingly close. They still warm people's butts, but now they're circular. Most people wouldn't even know the difference. Some might not even consider it new. But this product has changed. If we manage to see beyond the obvious, it is in fact completely reimagined. Transforming our company from linear to circular is our main goal right now. And we started this journey in 2003, when our first base layer made with recycled fabrics was launched. Back then, that was our only circular product. Now, 81% of our collection is made using circular fabrics. That's counting. And we aim to reach about 100%. In fact, we aim to reach exactly 100% within a few years from now. But what happens then? What is the next step? Where do we stop? And the answer is never. Because this is what we do. This is why we exist. The reason why Houdini exists is to reinvent, to reshape, reimagine our product, our company, our industry, and maybe the world around us. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining this stream. None of this is possible without your support and engagement. We need you guys. Always let us know what you think of what we're doing. Never be afraid to come to us with ideas and suggestions on how we can be better or what needs to be reimagined. We're in this together. And I know that many of us find ourselves trapped in a society that is destructive in many ways. But things can change. In fact, they are changing right now here in the US. It's a beautiful thing. And we all have a role to play. Thank you.
But now it's time to move into our first product, which is the brand new Pace jacket and Pace pants. And it's a light soft shell for high energy activities. And I would like Jesper from this morning to help me, or to help us understand the thinking that went into this product.
Thanks, Axel. I'll try to say those words a little bit later on. But first, I would like to take you on a journey. The journey of when we reimagined performance. When you're in this situation, what is it that really matters? We live in an era of constant measuring. Our experience of sports are boiled down to the stats that we see on our devices. Clothes are judged by the numbers from lab tests, rather than how they actually feel to wear. Somewhere in this age of data, we lost track. We lost track of what really matters, the human experience. We believe that we need to stop counting, and we need to start feeling. We don't design for scales, for data. We have a very different approach. We design for that actual experience. That is what should count. So the first step, designing beyond the numbers. Today products are made to reach certain standards. We reach them, but that's not the important part. We don't develop products and design products for those numbers. We don't sell our products with those numbers. The lightest garment is not always the garment that feels the lightest. We need to design for all senses. What's the touch against the skin? What makes you feel light, feel strong, feel fast? How does it move with the body? And how well does it regulate temperature? What sound does it make? What's really the sound of performance? The fit and the weight of your body. When you feel better, you do better. What does performance look like? We need to challenge the known norm. We need to challenge the norm of bells and whistles, allowing you to feel fast, strong, and light, no matter the occasion. And finally, we need to cherish how it works with our planet. A Houdini garment should not only feel good to wear, it should also feel good to purchase, ensuring that it's adding to the world becoming a better place. Because when you feel good, you do good. And something that really feels good is this new soft shell fabric, which Axel was referring to a second ago. We call it the C9 Octa soft shell. It's a composite, and it's built out of two components. The first one, our C9 ripstop. It's recycled polyester that we perfected to have the optimal balance between air permeability, lightness, and durability. It's equipped with a fluorocarbon-free DWR, and it's gotten a new friend today, a friend with a warp-knitted fleece, which is made from monofilaments. Those monofilaments have a specific shape. It's basically a hollow fiber with 8 small legs on them, due to the Octa name, and they're basically designed to pick up moisture and to keep you warm better than anything else. And how they're constructed into a fleece, it's basically continuous loops on the backer of that fleece. So rather than napping and shearing, this way we make sure that the fleece won't shed. So we're not having an issue with the microfibers in this garment. These two silent fabrics together create a perfect mix of a mechanical stretch that are then paired together with a dot glue for optimal comfort, allowing you to push further without noticing it. Let's have a more detailed look onto the models. This style, as Axel was referring to, is really created to go through those high pulse activities in cold weather. ski touring, mountaineering, hiking, snowshoeing. It's a garment that grows from its minimalism, becoming a versatile tool. And the idea is to create enough protection from harsh weather and at the same time give your body full freedom to breathe and to perform without becoming overheated. So let's run through them from top to bottom. First, here on Kalle, you see the higher collar, which is created in the soft shell. And on top of that, you see the small storm hood. So as Kalle is opening up, you'll see how this C9 hood comes up, and it's that pull-out hood that you need when the weather switches instantly. You see the harness-compatible pockets. They sit quite high, and they're created a little bit bigger than usual to be able to fit your skins internally as well. And here you can also see the fit. The articulated sleeves that are allowing you to move without any restrictions, but still keep a snug silhouette. Looking at the pant, it's also the same approach to the fit, allowing you to layer with a thin base layer underneath if you would like to. At the top of the waist, you see the flat adjustment with an internal elastic on the back, keeping it a low profile, so you won't feel it no matter your activity. On the thighs, you have the C9 pockets where you can stash things, and next to it you have basically the vent to allow you to go even further and even harder in any conditions, no matter the temperature, because really this product is an all year round product. And at the lower leg, you'll find a gusset together with a volume adjuster, which allows you to wear basically any boots, no matter if you're out running like the guys were heading out today, or if you're pairing it with your lighter ski touring boots. So with that said, Axel, are you excited to try these out?
Of course I am. So thank you, Jesper, from this morning, and of course Kalle and Evelina too. Now I would like to check in with Emma. How's it looking in the chat, Emma? Do we have any questions yet?
It's looking good. You guys are super enthusiastic. I haven't received many questions so far, but if you have any, shoot, don't be shy. We're here to answer them right after we presented the product, or otherwise we can save them till the end of the presentation as well. So ask away.
Awesome. So we're not quite done with the new pace yet, because we have our first field report. And this one comes from Andrea Tomasini and Italy. Andrea is also a relatively new member of the team, but he's a real legend in the European outdoor community. He also happens to live right in the middle of the Italian Dolomites. So we thought, who better to take the Pace jacket and pants for a test drive and give us his first impressions. This is what Andrea thought.
Hi, my name is Andrea Tomasini, and I'm part of the wholesale team at Houdini. I find myself in Italy at the moment, in the middle of the Dolomites, and more precisely in the Fannes Sennes Natural Park. This is where I live and where I like to spend my free time doing all kind of stuff, from skiing, running, hiking, or even riding my bike in the summer. Today is a beautiful day. No cloud to be seen, so I decided to go for a short hike just behind my house. What I'm wearing today is the Pace jacket and pants, which are part of the new Fall 21 collection. Without going too much into details, the numbers, what you notice immediately wearing this and using this product combination is the extreme comfort that it provides. The fabric package is super soft, wind resistant, but highly breathable. Inside there's a fleece insulation with an hexagonal design that is bringing additional warmth but needed. It's built to minimize the microfiber shedding and is moving the moisture away. Two front pockets deep front pockets in the front with a lot of space to even put your skin in the winter. The pants have two front pockets and, very important, side zipped for additional ventilation. So this is the perfect setup for high intense activities during the winter, but also during the mid-season. So now I have to go, otherwise I will never reach the top.
Thank you, Andrea. I think that sums it up pretty good. We are really excited about the pace, and we hope that you guys will love it too. Now, as you can see, I have stepped out of the greenhouse and into the garden. We're going to talk about wool. And to start that off, I want to tell you guys why Rosendal has a special significance for us at Houdini. Now, you can't really see it because we're on the North Pole and it's 6:30 in November. But I assure you, there's a beautiful garden here behind me. And somewhere in that garden, hidden away, is a Houdini clothing compost, which is our test lab for our circular wool garments. Because we do take great pride in that our wool garments are fully natural. And as we put only naturals in them, they can also return to nature. So a little over a year ago, we loaded up the compost with Houdini base layers, and now they're all gone. Or rather, they have transformed into compost matter and healthy soil that the gardeners here at Rosendal can use and are using to fertilize their veggies and fruits and trees. And that makes us really happy, because it shows that when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about circularity, it's not just talk, it actually works. And the Houdini clothing compost here at Rosendal is actually an extension of a project called Houdini Menu that we did a few years back. And I want to share a film about that project, and I think it really shows how beautiful circular design can be and the story of our wool base layers. Let's have a look at it.
This is a taste of the future, to be able to cook from things we recycle.
I think for Houdini, it's always been about creating something which is pure enough to have a continuous life.
When making this fabric, the process was quite long. It was several years actually, because we didn't want to compromise between the function and the aesthetics. So we mixed merino wool with other biodegradable fibers.
I have been composting since more than 40 years, but never textiles. It's important that you do not use material which contains toxic substances, because it can destroy the process and it makes the compost material unusable.
So to be able to make something biodegradable, we really question the base layers that we do and to make sure that they're pure enough. And by only putting naturals in there, which belongs in nature to start off with, we can also bring it back to nature.
The soil from the compost, you can use it as a perfect fertilizer, perfect soil improvement, and it makes your growing much more healthy than otherwise.
Houdini's clothes feels very down to earth and honest, so the challenge was to capture that in every dish. What we could do was, for example, make a broth from the mushrooms. We could dry mushrooms, we could smoke mushrooms, so we tried to put all of that together into one dish.
Det blir ju väldigt konkret när man ser gamla kläder bli fina måltider på en tallrik.
Coming from a completely different story and coming back here in our place, that is really something amazing.
In our bigger vision, we somehow want to create this positive company that just contributes to the world rather than taking it from it.
So why did we feel a need to reimagine wool? On a societal level, we've designed a faulty system. We're designing products that are made to be discarded, and we're creating a huge amount of waste. Society has been okay with this, as long as their convenience has been taken into consideration. But at Houdini, we don't compromise with design. Not for the user, not for us as a brand, and definitely not at the expense of our planet. First, we stopped creating hybrid fabrics. Secondly, we phased out all the polymers, making sure that everything is natural. Leaving the Houdini products today being all the wool products being 100% circular, only using natural materials in there, which are fully biodegradable. Which leads us into my favorite wool piece, the Désolé series. It really embodies how comfort and performance can be provided by nature. It comes from, it's built up from a 17.5 micron wool fiber. It is created from an AME traceable, Naturetex treated fiber, so we know where the fiber comes from. And also, the fiber has only gone through mechanical processes rather than chemical ones, making sure we're not adding anything to it. Yet keeping all the benefits of what you gotten used to, being able to wash it at a higher temperature and allowing you to really feel comfortable wearing it, just like in nature itself. After choosing the fiber, we really wanted to push the limits of what the fiber could do, to keep that natural stretch and strength of the fiber, and building that into a fabric. And this is where our development team and our supply chain team, together with our suppliers, really shines. We tried an endless amount of combinations, using different threads, different seams, different stitches per centimeters, as well as the tension of those, to create a product which feels like it's not existing. Because the best products are the ones that you really can't feel. And the only thing that sticks to you is those memories of your adventures, rather than the ill-fitting base layer. They're perfect for skiing, for hiking, and for any kind of low-pulse activity. But where they really shine is where you start pushing it in stop and start activities. So to sum up the Houdini wool philosophy in 3 points. 1, keep it natural. By not adding any unnatural treatments and not mixing it with any synthetics, we're able to create products that last for long, keeping all the natural performance benefits as well as the sustainable benefits of wool, making you keep the anti-odor properties, a fabric that regulates your warmth really well, but also at certain products keep its weather resistance completely undiluted. Secondly, make it purpose-driven. Wool, in its right form, in the right construction for the right activity, is an amazing performance fiber. And thirdly, use it as a system. That's why we offer the Houdini wool products from everywhere from base layers to insulatives and to shells. With that, I'd like to hand over to Emma to see if you guys have any questions about how we treat wool.
Thank you. We do actually have some questions. Thank you guys for that. I want to start with one question from Kaista, who asked about the pace pants, so just jumping back in time a little here, if they are compatible with snowboard boots as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Kaisa. Really great question. We created the pace pants to really work with a lot of different kind of sizes of boots. As you saw today, they work really, really nice with tight-fitting shoes, but they also have a quite wide gusset with a box pleat at the top, allowing you to go quite wide out, even to snowboard boots, depending on the size of them. But I'd say they fit most of the ones we've tried so far. But I think that's where basically the limit goes. We put a reinforcement in them, but we don't see them as a pant for alpine skiing. We rather see them as a perfect pant to go up touring with. Any other questions from your side, Emma?
Thank you, Jesper. We have actually one more about wool, jumping to that section. Or two more, I should say, but we can start with the first one. Jean-Baptiste asks if the products have to be placed in a specific condition to be able to compost 100%, or are regular compost conditions enough?
To be quite direct, a regular compost works great. The important part at the moment is that you need to remove the trims and the threads. Looking at the holistic perspective of the wool garments that we've created, we're still searching to find the biodegradable thread which holds up as good as the synthetic threads that we do. Today, actually, when we do the biodegradable ones in our tests, they wear out before the actual garment wear out. And that becomes intuitive in terms of the aspect of creating really sustainable products where we look into all the resources and the resource efficiency as a whole. So today you need to cut them away, but going forward we're pushing to deliver that as well. So your regular compost would do fine, but before you put it there, I would really encourage you to return it for recycling, because even if it's worn out as a base layer, we can still do really great other things with it before it needs to go back into nature. Using those fibers into a mechanical process, creating shorter staples, but still being able to create more heavy-duty kind of fabrics or coarser fabrics in general. So there's a lot left within the product before it needs to go back into nature.
Just one comment there. I mean, to create a compost, it's relatively easy, but it's good to read a little bit about it, and then you can do it in your own garden as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you so much. Do we have time for one more question, Axel?
Sure. Let's do a quick one.
Great. Let's see. I don't know if we have any quick ones here so far. You guys are being pretty smart. I think you touched upon it a little bit, Jesper, but can you just specify what exactly is the thread made of in our wool garments?
Thanks, Emma. The thread we're using today is polyester. So it's basically the strongest thread that we've gotten so far, and it also has a great balance between elasticity and strength, allowing it to work with the garment. As I was referring to earlier, a lot about garment creation is to find balance between the fabrics and how they're put together, draped or cut around the body, to make you feel the least possible of them. So for now, polyester is the best option.
Thank you so much, Jesper.
Okay, now we're going to talk about hoodies. And we launched our iconic Power Hoodie almost 20 years ago, and it's really turned into a classic since then. Now it comes in different materials with some different details and different fits, but the technical outdoor hoodie is really what put Houdini on the map. And to be quite frank, I would say that nobody does hoodies better than us. What I have here is actually a batch from the first Power Hoodies that was launched in 2003. And since then, it's been worn by one of our friends, a mountain guide called Carl Lundberg. Before we talk about the hoodies for next fall, I want to talk to you or tell you the story about how the Power Hoodie became the Power Hoodie. And this was back in the late 90s. I don't know if you remember what sportswear looked like and felt like back then, but I can remind you. It was heavy, it was bulky, it was designed to sort of look and feel rugged and hardcore. And I think I dare to say manly as well, because it was designed to sort of 99% by men for men. So the small company Houdini took on the task to create the ultimate mid-layer to wear underneath the shell. And that was the brief for the Power Hoodie. And what happened then is that we found a really smooth and stretchy material. We created a fit closer to body so that it could fit underneath the shell. We also needed fabric with really high abrasion resistance, since it was supposed to move with other garments. And we wanted a timeless look and sort of dropped all preconceived notions on what sportswear were supposed to look like back in the day. And this was the result. A first edition. This might become really valuable one day. But I should also say that we are the first to admit that it wasn't an instant hit. It wasn't a success from the start, because it didn't really look like what people were used to, and didn't feel like what people were used to. But those who dared to try it fell in love instantly, because it just worked, and it kept on working. So today we have a number of cousins and distant relatives to the Power Hoodie on the market, but I still think that the original is the best. We've actually done surveys among our customers, and they've shown that the average time of use for a Power Hoodie is 10 years and 1,200 uses. That's an average. So it's sort of redefined what you can expect from a fleece jacket in terms of comfort, in terms of performance, and not least in terms of longevity. But now we're gonna leave history and see what Jesper has in store for us from the next fall Power Hoodie line, or hoodie line, I should say.
Thanks, Axel. By heart and soul, we are driven by innovation, and this new part of the Houdini family is no exception. It was created with one purpose in mind: to fight microplastics. Microfiber shedding from the synthetic clothing is a problem, and we don't know to what extent yet, but we know that there's a lot of research going on in the field, and hopefully we'll know more about it soon. But what we do know is that it is a problem. And about 8 years ago, we first set out to try and change that and to challenge that problem. What we came up with is what we have today. The Power Hoodie was leading the industry. So together with our innovation partner Polartech, we set out to challenge that norm. The result? Fleece Reimagine. It's quite the complex knit construction, but it can be simplified into 3 different parts. All parts are created by monofilaments. So you have the face, a recycled polyester monofilament that is coated in hard face to create that rugged outside. That's knitted together with the backer, which is also a monofilament recycled polyester, and together those are creating pockets. Pockets that are trapping air and are also then filled with a third component, also a monofilament, holding that air in place and boosting that pillow with a little bit of loft. And those pockets are holding air because that's the absolute best insulator there is. The result? A product that sheds up to 5 times less than our very best fleece, and the very best fleece in the market. Amazing. Let's have a look at the model, at Evelina, who's wearing the Mono Air hoodie, and to Kalle as well, who's wearing the Power Airs. You can see they're resembling to one another. With the Mono Air hoodie, we really wanted to use those identifiers of comfort that we've gotten used to. The snug collar around the face, the cuffs around the wrists, which is something that people are getting used to and are providing a great amount of comfort. But with the Mono Air hoodie, we wanted to create a durable face that makes you comfortable even if your best friend is made out of sandstorm. As you see on the inside, if you open it, Evelina, the small bubbles are trapping air, but also the small voids in between the bubbles and your skin are trapping air, making it even more insulative. Due to the characteristics of the outside, it slides really smoothly into your shells and becomes a really astonishing layering piece. The same goes for the inside, making it a lot smoother than your traditional rugged fleece, allowing your base layer to move in and out of the mid layer even faster. Making this an ideal product for high pulse activities where the inside of those bubbles really pick up the moisture quickly, but also allows the airflow to keep you at the regulated temperature at all times. I am sure, just like the Power Hoodie, that this product will grow into one of your companions. It will become a product that is your go-to piece that you throw into the bag the first time around. And let's have a look at some images from our friends on adventures like this, where the Power Hoodie has become just that, a companion. Let's have a look at the next movie.
I want to thank all of you guys that sent us images for this little film. I hope you're watching, and we really appreciate it. Now, I've seen, or Emma told me, that we're getting a lot of questions about dye stuff in connection to the wool. And I think that we'll save that question for the Q&A, and then we can have time to really give you guys a good extensive answer. And now we're going to talk about shells, and our roller coaster shell in particular. And the story that's interesting, or that's special about the roller coaster, is something that most people don't really think about, which is garment construction, or pattern construction, I should say. And pattern construction is the art of cutting and constructing garments. And the roller coaster has a really special story when it comes to pattern construction. So now I will hand over to Jesper from this morning to give us a little masterclass in design and pattern construction.
Thanks, Axel. When we first started looking at shells about 9 years ago, we found two things which we wanted to improve on: comfort and sustainability. We worked with the materials processes to achieve a greater result for those. But as Axel said, we also wanted to look at something else, the pattern cutting. And we really wanted to reimagine pattern cutting. As you see on the image, this is the conventional way. It's two-dimensional. Patterns are drafted on a flat surface, trying to mimic how it would look on the body. This is basically how the industry has been creating patterns for the last 200-300 years. But we wanted to move from 2D into 3D. On your left, this is how flat lines look on a body. You see the chest line, the waistline, the hip line, all static lines designed to look amazing when you stand still. But how often does that really happen when you're out in nature? Maybe unless if you're a bird watcher. We wanted to create a 3D version of it, allowing us to take different patterns of movement into consideration. So together with a professor of pattern cutting from the Swedish School of Textiles, we studied patterns of movements from the outdoor and created a method to create patterns for garments directly onto a moving body in a qualitative way. Rather than using the static lines, we identified a new grid of dynamic lines and points, which you can see here now on the right. I can talk for hours and hours about this, since we did a rough estimate and I spent around 4,200 hours of studying it. But I will keep today to 3 clear user benefits. The first one out, the right amount of fabric where you really need it. By draping garments in 3D rather than cutting them on a table, we could directly identify how much fabric and what fabric was needed at each point of the body. No excess fabric that created bulk and a feeling of initiating movement even before they happened. The second part, natural stretch where you need it. Another added benefit lays in the foundation of the woven construction of the materials itself. No matter how rigorous fabric is, you always have one direction with more give, the bias. You have the warp, the width, and 45 degrees from that, you have the bias. You can see it in the image here on the right, where the black and white lines represent the grain line, differently from the left. Especially if you look around the shoulders, the elbows, the butt, and the knees. Adding give and natural stretch without adding stretch fiber, keeping them recyclable. And the third one, less seams and seams where you really want them. The third added benefit is in the fewer amount of seams needed. Fewer seams, less weight, less weak points, and a better durability in the long run. Looking at worn out products, you can clearly see that at the seams is where they break, and it's very strong. It's very seldom that the weave itself is torn up. So to the conclusion, this is how it all comes together. On the left, the roller coaster jacket, and on the right, the roller coaster pants, slowly draping around the body. Or in an even nicer way, as you can see it here on the models. Given the new freedom of Made to Move, we used our friends as guiding stars in terms of what the features we wanted to add into the garments. You have the helmet-compatible hood, you have the underarm vent zips, as well as the integrated zips across the chest. This new grid, or this new freedom allows us to place them in different ways and to play with our design. The same goes for the pants, where we can integrate the pockets, as well as integrating the vent zips in a new way, creating a massive back 5 ventilation, which becomes more of an active ventilation as you start touring up. And for the second part of this, we really wanted to materialize this product in a different way. And just like with all our shells, we wanted it to be smooth, soft, and silent, just like our Power Hoodie. So that's what we told the technical engineers, but also that we wanted public space-like durability. We got a bit of a laughter, but that set the norm for the shells that we're doing today. They're all soft, smooth, silent. They're made from recycled polyester, recyclable polyester, from the face to the membrane to the backer, using our Atmos membrane with a 20K performance. And they're blue signed. And all of them are also featuring a fluoride-free DWR, making sure that there's no toxic chemicals in there. And with that said, I'd like to hand over to another smooth ride, the one that Junior has done in Japan, featuring a movie from our Japanese friends. Please enjoy. such an inspirational movie. It really makes me think about colder temperatures, and that leads us naturally into our next segment, Insulated Shell. This is the new Moonwalk jacket. In many ways, a pretty normal Houdini garment. Our regular customers would feel pretty familiar with it. But what's normal for us is far from normal within the industry. A lot of the times, things we take for granted are exceptional for others. Let me run you through the 4 principles on how we design insulated shell. First, a circular design. Made from recycled polyester and fully recyclable, we use post-consumer plastic waste to create an exceptional performance garment. And those resources never has to become waste again. The same goes for all Houdini insulated garments. But trust me, if you walk into your average sportswear shop, that's not the norm. Second part, feather-free. We don't believe in stealing birds' feathers. So instead, we use cutting-edge performance synthetic padding from Primaloft. Light, compressible, even warm and wet. What more can you ask for? And at the same time, we don't harm any birds. Third part, fluorocarbon-free. We phased out fluorocarbons for more than 2 years. It took a lot of work, but for us, it's a given. The fourth, cutting-edge performance. A lot of people believe that designing performance garments means that you need to compromise. A lot of people think that creating products for the planet means that you need to skip out on performance. But for us, it all comes as a holistic package, making sure that if you compare our garments with the best in the industry, they hold up to warmth, to lightness, and to durability. Which moves us into, if you compare this, it's a pretty normal jacket, as long as you're comparing it with the best products in the world. But if you look at designing for both the planet as well as for the users, we're quite far ahead of a lot of our competitions. So looking at this specific jacket, what stands out, what makes it special? It's really about the fabrication and the materialization of it. Having this C9 ripstop at the sleeves and the back, allowing you for great breathability. The more weather resistant spinner ripstop at the center front zip, allowing you to move fast, but also to use it as a really versatile garment, allowing you to wear it on top of your face pants as you go touring, but also as an insulation underneath your shell in other occasions. Let's move over to the next one. Here you see the Moonwalk shorts. Intuitive, check. Warmth where you really need it, check. This is an updated version of an all-time favorite, just like the one Niklas mentioned before. But now it's circular. You might think a pair of shorts is not the optimal winter garment, but this is where you're wrong. Get a pair and you'll start to wonder how you could ever live without them before. Wear them under your shells, or just like Evelina here on top of a pair of tights for extra reinforcement where you really need it. They're materialized with the Power Air Light that we talked about before in the Mono Air Hoodie. Padded with the Primaloft Active Gold Plus, just rolls off the tongue. And on top of that, you have the C9 ripstop, blocking the wind a little bit more and breaking the wind, creating an optimal balance. With that said, we'll move into a really exciting product here. First out, I'd like to talk a little bit about the padding which is used in there. It's called Primaloft Rise. And that really changes the game of insulated padding. Before, puffers were an exception for people who were willing to compromise with down. Now, Primaloft has helped us change the game. On conventional paddings, all the fibers lay on a horizontal way, but there's only to a certain extent that you can build loft that way. When you reach a certain point, it's just the weight that starts bringing the pile down, and you're not adding any more loft, but purely weight. By changing the direction into vertical injection and how you connect the fibers, you've created a completely different game. A loft that has a high retention rate, that bounces back when you put weight on it, and basically bouncing away the cold from the body. So let's bring in the jackets and have a look at them. With no further ado, the bouncer. As over the top as you will ever see me as a minimalist go, this is Houdini's interpretation of the extra everything expedition jacket. Maximum warm, minimum weight. That's the basic idea. The warmest jacket in the history of Houdini. We put a massive effort into all those small details that makes the garment feel better to wear. The stretchy, smooth fabric over the shoulders, making it water resistant in these areas, combined with a light and durable spinner around the stomach and the back, making it an optimal air trapper, because what we really want to carry is air, and that's the optimal insulator. And to keep all that air in and the cold out, we created heat barriers. Heat barriers around all the areas where you usually feel cold and let cold air out. So you see them around the opening of your hood, you see them around your neck, as well as your sleeve endings and the bottom hem, making you stay toasty basically. And on the inside you'll have massive stash pockets for stashing gloves, or like our friend Mange would have said, perfect for a couple of bottles of wine. I hope you're watching. All insulated shells are recycled and recyclable. They're fluorocarbon free, and they're all done without stealing any bird feathers. They're really made for those days when the weather is challenging us, when the temperature goes below freezing, and they really excel in climbing adventures in these kind of experiences. But don't take my word for it. Let us listen to my son, who has done a movie showing it up in Åre. Thanks a lot.
Hello, my name is Marie, and I'm the store manager of our Houdini hub here in Åre, where is the biggest ski resort in Sweden. I received this jacket from the headquarters a few weeks ago, called the Bouncer jacket, and it's going to be a winner. I really like it because it keeps me so warm and so light, and you don't feel like a penguin in it, and still mobility, and the fitting is perfect. If you want to have a backpack or something, it's just, yeah, it's still nice. And as you can see, it's a little bit longer here, so it keeps your butt warm. And a perfect good hoodie that you can really close it in if it's windy, as it is in Åre, like all the time. So this one gonna keep me warm this winter, and it's so light and it's gonna be perfect. That's all for me. Thanks. Sorry about that. The speech was perfect. Cozy hood. I can see it. Hey, Boomer. You want to be in the movie too? You want to be a movie star?
I am a movie star.
Yeah, I'm a movie star. My name is Marie, and
This is my co-star.
Thank you so much, Marie. I hope you don't mind that we used all the clips you sent us, not only the last one. And that's it for the product presentations. Now we move into the Q&A. So I want to thank Kalle and Evelina, our models. And I think we should dive straight into our question and answer session. Do you have anything for us, Emma?
Yeah, we do actually. We got a few questions about coloring and zippers. So I was wondering if we could dive a little bit into that. One question that we got was about the dye stuff that we use for our garments. What are the challenges in that, or what do we use at the moment? Another question was about recyclability and zippers, but maybe we can start with the colors.
Thanks a lot, Emma. I'll start with that, and you guys can fill in. Dye stuff in general is a tricky business. Part of it is being us as an industry being quite protective. If you look at the dye stuff industry and the recipes, it's been looked at part of a patent within the industry, not really being so transparent about what's there and what's not. And it's something that we've needed to break up bit by bit to fully understand where does the dye stuff come from and what are the parts that goes in there. We work together with Blue Sign as an industry partner, which helps us set the standard, but we also step above that. We look at other parts of the chemicals that are in dye stuffs that we have chosen ourselves to remove. We look at metal complexes and make sure that those are not in there as well, making sure that our dye stuff goes together with the rest of our philosophy as a whole in terms of creating circular product and circular designs. Do you guys want to fill in on anything in terms of those?
I mean, maybe I can just give a quick example that when we did the Houdini menu product or Houdini menu project that we showed earlier, they did sample and testing the soil from the compost to make sure that, because if like too much or any toxic stuff goes into the compost, then they won't put it out in the garden. But then it showed that the levels of those matters were completely fine. So that's just one very practical way of knowing that it's nothing that's sort of too bad in there.
Toxify.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and that's great as an example for this one, but we do that even on the samples before we put them out there, because the compost is one thing, but also just chemicals next to your skin. We spoke a little bit earlier about fluorocarbons. It's a different kind of chemical, but also something that we phased out for more than 2 years ago. So we need to look carefully into everything that we put into our products and everything we put out there on the market, making sure that we're ahead of the game, pushing it a little bit further. And I'm sure our engineer, Malin, would have loved to be here and dug a little bit even deeper into the subject and shared some of her thoughts.
We'll bring her next time, or maybe we'll have
ahead of the game. Is there any dyeing processes that could give back to Earth? We have talked about it. It's coming.
It's a complex area, and what we're looking at now, and something that we touched upon this morning in the chat as well, is natural dyes, or using resources from other industries in terms of industrial symbiosis to actually add to our coloring process. One difficult part of that today is to keep it consistent, but also making sure that it lasts as long as the garments, making sure that it doesn't fade or that it fades with beauty. And then the discussion becomes like how far or how quickly. And if you look at other industries and other garments, there are colors that fade and leaves a natural track of it. But we need to make sure that it doesn't go too quickly and it's still keeping in a nice way. So we're on to that, but we haven't fully created the recipe for it yet.
It's coming. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good answer. So Emma, I think we had some questions about zippers, right? There's some sort of zipper debate in the chat. Can you try to sum that up for us?
I sure can. I'll try at least. People are wondering why we are not hearing about sustainable zippers. Are they completely out of the sustainable design equation? Or maybe Jesper, you can fill in a little bit more on what are the challenges when it comes to creating or using recyclable zippers?
I think, again, it's a complex topic where for us as a brand, durability is a super important part of this bigger picture of sustainability. If we would have a zipper which are biodegradable or has all parts being recyclable at the moment, the zippers we're using at the moment, the metal endings of them are not recyclable in our polyester process. You can still separate them and put them into other parts of sorting with metals, but they don't go into the garment recycling, basically. And the complex part of this is basically they don't hold up long enough. So we would need to replace the zippers much more often, and looking at that from a bigger perspective and resource efficiency, it wouldn't make sense. So for us, we've chosen something which lasts longer and allow us to get people into the store after 7-8 years and be quite frank pissed at us because the zippers are so bad, so they break. Just imagine what would happen if we would change into something which would break after 3 years or 4 years. Then we would have really upset customers.
Yeah,
that's true.
So now we do have a lot of great sort of technical questions, but since we have you here, Hanna, I want to talk a little bit about business too. So you have great experience, and you've seen a few Houdini collections throughout the years. We have presented 5 news here today. We have the Pace jacket, the Pace pants, Moonwalk jacket, Moonwalk shorts, and the Bouncer jacket. which one will be the biggest hit?
I mean, I think first of all, the whole package is a really good package to the market. I think it's really it's new products, and they are different than what you can see at the market, which is fantastic. But commercially, I would say that the bouncer will be the greatest hit.
How come?
It's because there is not that many jackets that looks like that, and I also think it's a great jacket from Houdini, and we haven't had that before, and people are looking for that within our collection. So, and it's easy to wear, it's light and so forth. So I would say it's definitely that one.
Yeah, I saw that we got some positive immediate feedback from the chat. Somebody wants to steal Marie's jacket, for example. Not sure if she would allow that, but I'm sure we have more of them. Okay, we need to round off pretty soon, but I think we have time for one or two more questions. Do we have anything for me, Emma?
Sure, Axel. We actually just got a question that was maybe considered provocative, but I think it's a great question, so I'm going to challenge you and ask it anyway. Where would we say that our weak spots lies in our products? Or what would be our challenges, and what do we strive to become better at?
I will hand this question over to you, Jesper.
We're talking about a question that I would hand over to Axel, but it's too quick on doing it. Now I think for me personally, or for us as a team, we constantly strive to develop ourselves. I think that's really the most fun part about my job. So I think looking at ourselves critically, we do on an everyday basis. We constantly try and challenge ourselves to step beyond, to step further. And if you look at our 2030 goals or our 2066 goals and just look at the ambition of that, parts of it is in product, but parts of it is also on how we are creating our offering as a whole, how we offer the products towards end users. And I think that's where we need to push further. Looking at us today as a brand, we're able to offer products in a different way, but we also need to take responsibility beyond and looking at the full use of our products, making sure that we keep track on them the whole time through there, but also allowing the products to be active in use the whole time. So I think there's a major area of improvement, but also something that I'm looking forward to exploring much further as we go on.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna be hard on you. So if I'm gonna let you pick one thing each that where if you could change something tomorrow, what would that be? Hanna, maybe you want to go first.
By tomorrow, yes. I mean, then I would like to see some more regulations in the society, which then make sure that you cannot develop anything that also take resources from the world,
right?
In order to make money, because it should cost a little bit more if you do that. So it's reimagine the capitalism, sort of. Actually. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, yeah. So force change upon ourselves and everybody else.
Yes.
Okay, Jesper, if you want to.
I think it's a great part. It's not always good to be second. Now, I think for me, it's about it just needs to be more expensive to do the wrong thing. Today we're looking at everywhere from how we source fibers, where we buy fibers, and it's easier and cheaper to buy the wrong part. So either we need to look at it from a regulation perspective, or we need to look at it from an innovation perspective, putting our money where our mouths are, basically, and pushing those innovations forward, making that into something which becomes cost-effective, using economy of scale. But for that to happen, we need to get other people on board and jump on the project, basically.
Mm.
So it has to cost if we use something from Earth, it has to cost a little bit extra.
Right.
Otherwise, we will use it up.
And that's not the case today.
That's not the case today. No.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. We have time for one more question, Emma, if you have done something for us.
I've got one more here from Christopher, who's asking a very direct question. But how much are we spending on marketing? The big brands are spending too much for it. So how do we divide our resources? Is that something that we can elaborate on a little bit?
Wow. I'm in marketing, and I wish I could answer your question, but unfortunately I can't. Something that I can say is that we've decided to not spend big money on traditional advertising, but rather try to build a sort of direct relation to our customers. So we mostly use our own social media, our own newsletters, etc., because we think that sort of using the shotgun is not going to cut it today. So maybe we can you can send us an email and we'll give you some numbers, but I'm not sure exactly what the share of our budget is when it comes to marketing. All right, and now we need to close up this this show. I know that Emma and the guys in the chat will stay for a little bit, but I want to thank you all for watching and for all the great questions and for taking the time. We love you, and we'll see you next season. And thank you, everybody, and thanks to everybody that contributed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night.